think the big thing, it started in the 60s. We needed an international Grand Prix circuit. The chaps who ran the South African Grand Prix in East London were just running out of money at that time. And the mayor of Johannesburg, Dave Marais, who was also a jeweler, said to Francis Tucker, the chairman of the Sports Rock Club, we've got to get an international circuit here in Johannesburg. It'll be good for the country, it'll be good for Johannesburg. So they went looking around, and he suggested Lombardy East. In fact, the N3 goes through there now, for the municipal property. They looked in Benoni, they looked at Baragwanath, and finally they came across Kyalami Country Estates. And Francis Tucker got all the committee guys together and said, come and see, this is the place for us. So in 1961 they formed SAMRAC, South African Motor Racing Club. It was made up of sports car. It was basically the Sports Car Club Racing Committee, plus members from each club around Gauteng. And they formed the SAMRAC to put the circuit together. And there were some well-known names. Cyril van der Merwe's father was part of it. There was Ian Ken, there was Francis Tucker, there was Hugh Gehring, and there was Basil Reid, of course, the road builder. In fact, has built all three Kyalami circuits that existed. So they went and mapped the circuit out on the hillside, a very empty hillside, and Francis Tucker drove the grader, and within 10 months, a very high-tech piece of road. Basil Reid knew what was required for a racing circuit, his own requirements of taking cars that are sliding, etc., etc. And he built Kyalami. And in fact, at the end of November 1961, we had our first Rand Grand Prix, which was won by none other than Jim Clark in his Lotus. Kyalami over the years has had every known Formula One driver you've ever heard of. From the days of Jim Clark, John Surtees, Michael Schumacher, Ayrton Senna, they've all raced at Kyalami. Jackie Stewart, it was just, that's how it was. We had all the great mates came in. And the thing about Kyalami, it's an iconic circuit, as is Wanderers, as is Ellis Park, Loftus Versfeld. It brought motorsport to the world and also promoted South Africa. People around the world knew about Kyalami more than they knew about Johannesburg or South Africa. And in fact, it was in the days when it started. The other known names were Gary Player and Dr. Chris Barnett, and Kyalami is the other name they all spoke of. And it was an iconic circuit that had the fastest straight in the world. It was one of 4 Grand Prix circuits that everybody rated. I mean, we've got Nordschleife at Nürburgring, we've got Monza, and we've also got Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium. Those were considered the great circuits at Kyalami, and we had one. And it was a very fast circuit. All the corners were basically blind, so you had to know your way around that circuit. And the top speed I think we ever registered, I think it was Nelson Piquet, did about 330 k's an hour. It was a very fast circuit. And in fact, Bernie Eccleston, the man who's the supremo behind Formula One racing, said we've got to slow down Kyalami. That straight, that long straight we had, is too fast for Grand Prix cars. And so it went on. It was a passion there. You know, people used to camp out for the 9-hour race for days on end. You'd have that smell of braai, you'd see Sandton in the distance, you'd see the towers in Kyalami. And on the evening when the sun set and you had a 9-hour race, the sound of Porsches and Ferraris and Maxes and that going out. It was just inspiring stuff. You just said, this is in South Africa, and showing the veld there. And the veld was basically empty those days when you first got going. So it had a passion, and you were working with people that were passionate about motorsport, number one, and number two, doing things for South Africa. You know, people want to do things for South Africa. And that's what the people like Francis Tucker and the SAMRAC committee, with Mike Reid did a lot, also the MSA guys, the AA, all in there, making sure that Kyalami came up tops in the world and was well thought of around the world. Well, the cost of running a racing circuit is enormous. There's no doubt about it. In these current days, we need to run a Grand Prix that took big money. Only governments can really afford to run it. If we want international motorsport back, and I think South Africa deserves to be there. What I'd like to see is people who have the necessary money to invest, who are actually keen on continuing as a motor racing circuit, as a Grand Prix circuit. It'll change, of course. There'll be buildings around, you can turn it into a motor park, dealers, etc., etc. but to retain the circuit we've got, because the tar itself, built by Basil Reed, is brilliant. That doesn't need fixing at the moment. If you came with a Grand Prix, they'd always come with other safety precautions. They do that every year. But we'd really like somebody that has an interest of South African motorsport at heart, and a lot of people around like that here and overseas, to take it over and continue in a different form, we know, but continue to use the circuit, number one, as a motor racing circuit, also to bring Grand Prix racing, if that's what we need, and then also to use it, driver training, whatever it is, promotions, vehicle launches, you could have all that at Kyalami. So like other circuits we've got, like Swartkops in fact, that circuit is used every day, 7 days a week. It is busy. You can hardly get a booking there to make it a viable proposition, and it can happen. I mean, Kyalami could live again and really promote not only South Africa but internationally this whole country, that we are a high-tech country that can put on these sort of events.